Now we're also going to be talking about the oil and gas space. So let's move away from the markets. Let's move away from the markets now. Talking about the oil and gas space with regards to what's been happening recently with oil markets as far as where Brent crude WTI is moving, what the outlook is for Nigeria, comparing things as well with the big, massive deal in Mozambique, that 20 billion deal that was pushed over by Total. We're going to be talking with the chairman, board of directors, Shoreline Natural Resources Limited, Mr. Kola Karim. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, Roches.
How have you viewed movements in oil prices prior to and since the OPEC decision to taper its production cuts?
I think we've seen a lot of stability. The last week has been stable, but we're not out of the woods yet because the prices as they are still quite low compared to a lot of the global expectation. If you look at data that's come out today, even in the United States, inventory is still climbing up. And that is worrying, looking at African producers like Nigeria because of our dependency for foreign exchange on the oil production. So we see stability from where the prices have been, but reality is that price that is stable is not the expected destination of the above 50s number that is needed to actually help buffet a lot of financing across the continent.
Indeed, thank you for that. Are there any triggers that you're looking for to support or suppress oil prices in the near to long term?
Look, what my biggest worry was looking at those US data that's coming today saying oil stockpile in the United States is still climbing up. And that's worrying signal. So I'm not expecting any global price increase much more than hovering between the 40 and 45 in the next couple of weeks, only if we have a drastic global position or something like that would help push a price swing on the upside. But for now, it is still just let's keep pushing it as we go along and keeping the stability with the new normal. If you look at the problems now with the pandemic, also with parts of the United States shutting down, is creating even bigger worry because we're going into the summer driving season. California, large states like California is shutting down. You're seeing parts of the Midwest also having the same problem, and Florida. If that does happen, then we could see another glut building up and we'll see prices going back down again.
Thank you for that. So based on that, if you take what you just said now, what's your outlook for Nigeria with reference to what it means for us as far as revenue is concerned?
Look, I think the revenue forecast in the short term is got to be stable where we are. The medium-term revenue forecast it's all depending on where global positioning goes because the pricing is out of our control. It's all driven by global events. But the reality is the stability of between the 40 and 45 is good, but not good enough in keeping us going in the short term.
Thank you for that. I want to talk more long-term now as far as the PIB bill is concerned. Is Shoreline Group, along with other players in the oil and gas space, lobbying the government to get that passed as soon as possible?
I think our problem is way beyond lobbying. The reality is, the good thing is government itself knows it is now past this due date for the PIB to be passed to actually energize investment that is needed to spur the growth that's required in the industry. So the PIB, we do not need to lobby anymore. Everyone has been speaking. We've all been talking to all the different players right across board in the sector. But it is important that the PIB is needed because looking at the global position today where oil is on a stable path today, but the price is still not there, you can tell oil is no longer the preserve of nations like Nigeria alone. Oil is now found in a lot of other places. A lot of investors with capital have choices. So Nigeria, we need to buckle up, put the trend and focus in trying to make that difference, saying we're open for investment and these are the rules and regulations with the passing of the PIB.
Excellent stuff. Thank you for that. So speaking of in other countries and other options, move with the gas. What do you make of the $20 billion deal for the Mozambique LNG deal put together by Total?
Look, again, this is part of what I've been saying and so many other practitioners in the industry we've been saying. Look, the days of a country like Nigeria being the only game and player in oil and gas in town is fast dwindling. Mozambique has come into the fray. Senegal has come into the fray. They found humongous reserves of gas. Tanzania also has found huge amounts of gas. Reality is this: if we do not have the real focus on ground in attracting this capital, but we've made a bit of strive there. If you look at the Train 7 that's been passed in Nigeria, but if we look at Mozambique, it is a huge investment, $20 billion of investment, and there's more coming because of the gas reserves that's been found there. And looking at their proximity to the global market, it should be worrying for a country like Nigeria, because most of our major buyers are in Europe or in Asia. And if Mozambique is closer to the Asian market due to geolocation of where they are, Nigeria, we need to buckle up in trying to refocus and double our efforts in our gas and gas production.
Okay, great. So speaking of redoubling efforts, about a minute to go, what do you make of well, you mentioned LNG Train 7. There's also the Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano pipeline. Is that enough, or more needs to be done as far as the doubling up on gas?
No, it's not enough. We need to redouble our efforts. We need to refocus on exporting Nigeria's huge gas reserves, which is over 210 TCF in reserves. We need to redouble our efforts in creating a market for that. The AKK is one. The West African gas pipeline is another that is there. We should start thinking of the extension. Then we need to look at another extension of the line going southwards through Cameroon and going towards East Africa or Southern Africa. Nigeria is a huge oil and gas, more of a gas giant with 210 TCF. The refocus and investment in exploitation and exploring in making and turning this to huge value for the country at this present time should be a critical moment, because of the future of oil has got question marks around it. But gas and gas utilization, with clean energy being pushed all over the world, Nigeria has a huge opportunity in creating and being a mega market force as a gas hub.
Fantastic. Let's see if I can squeeze this last question. If in 30 seconds, if you can, your outlook for the rest of the year with regards to the oil and gas space, I guess, for the rest of 2020.
Look, if the pandemic stays and it could be contained, we see stability, and this new stability of the new normal should be between 40 and 50 till the end of the year.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. We've been speaking with Mr. Kola Karim, the Chairman Board of Directors at Shoreline Natural Resources, taking us through the oil and gas space, his thoughts on what Nigeria needs to do to double up on oil and gas and get more investment so we can have a massive deal like what Mozambique pulled off with Total, $20 billion as far as gas is concerned.